Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk movies, television, and wrestling. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for The Black Phone 2. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share them, leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on The Black Phone 2, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, The Black Phone 2. First, The Black Phone 1. That was one of those surprise movies that came out, I want to say 2023 or 2022, where, you know, it kind of came from out of nowhere. Like, we knew Ethan Hawke was in it. He's going to play a villain. He usually doesn't do that because you know of his code where he is his character's lawyer. Like, he can always defend his character and find the light within them no matter how shades of gray they are. The Grabber, there's nothing redeeming about him. So it was really interesting to see Ethan Hawke do that in the way that it really knocked it out of the park. And, you know, we find these two kids who are phenomenal actors. Mason, who has gone on to do amazing things. He had How to Train Your Dragon come out, and now he has what is it? Forgetting You or Not Forgetting You. It's a rom-com that's coming out, I think, next week, in all honesty. And I think the girl, who I cannot remember her name to save my life, who plays Gwen, to me, I think is a star in the making. And I know that sounds very contradictory. Now I'm saying I can't remember her name, but every time I see her on screen, she is very, very powerful in her performances. And, you know, as a young actress right now, you know, this is something she does continue to want to do and just grow and grow and grow and grow. Again, I think she is a true powerhouse in the making. And a lot of that goes into the direction that they decided to go with this story. Because in a lot of ways, I would say Finney, played by Mason, takes a back seat in this film. Now, when I say backseat, I'm not saying like he doesn't have a presence in it whatsoever. He's definitely co-lead, but he's not the lead. I will say this story is Gwen's. It's her movie for the most part, because, you know, it does deal with the supernatural element. I mean, this movie, in all honesty, is probably the closest that we are going to get to a Nightmare on Elm Street movie without having the title and without having Freddy Krueger, because of how it deals with it. It's almost like Dream Warriors in a lot of ways with how it's played. That's probably misleading now that I say that out loud, but if you've seen the movie, you know where I'm coming from when I say it is kind of like Dream Warriors in a way. Great story. I really like the script of this film. I would actually really like to read it when it comes out to see what got cut, to see if Finney had a bigger part in the story as it's going, because as the movie progresses, I do feel like some things got cut with him. Not in a bad way. I think everything they put into the film needed to be in for the story that they were trying to tell. Because again, if we're going to compare the two, which we shouldn't, because comparison is the thief of joy, I think the story of this movie is better than the first one. And it, you know, it also really complements the first movie in a lot of ways too. I think, like, if you wanted to do a double feature, because sometimes with franchises, you can go back to back to back and you never lose a beat, and it doesn't matter how long it is. You know, like Lord of the Rings is one of those examples where you can really go back to back to back and you will having a good time. And, you know, it's almost like watching a series that was only 3 episodes. That's why it's one of the greatest trilogies of all time. But, you know, the Star Wars original trilogy. Don't come at me now. I love the Star Wars original trilogy. But is that one that where you get done and you want to put in the next one? I would argue no. I would need a day break in order. Okay, I'm going to watch New Hope, and then now I'm going to Empire Strike Back. Probably not the best example because I know how beloved that original trilogy is. But what I'm saying is some franchises, you can't just go back to back to back with them. I think this one is worthy of the, hey, I just got done with one, now I'm going to put on 2. And again, you get this great story arc all the way through this. I really like the arc of Finney that he goes through. Again, mainly a supporting role in this film, but everything they do with him, it was had purpose. It was very necessary, felt very real in a lot of ways. Like, you've definitely seen that before, of someone going through this after they had this traumatic experience that no one can relate to, that he says multiple times throughout when he goes, I understand what you're going through. No, you don't. No, you don't. You were not in what I was at. I was the only one who made it out. The only people who can understand me are dead. And it's again, with that experience that he goes through, is understanding why he's a little bit within the background of this. Again, he's still a focus, he still has a presence in the film, but with what is recalled of him or what to do is why the way that it goes. While for Gwen, with dealing with the Grabber, who is mainly more supernatural, mainly, he is. He is supernatural in this story, and she's the one with the supernatural power. It makes sense for how they go about it. And again, with the whole lessons, I can't really go more into the plot because it does get a little more spoilery, but again, it is so complimentary to the first movie. And by the end of it, I was like, that was a hell of a ride that I went on. Now, where my problems of this movie come into is within the horror elements of it. Now, y'all know me. Horror is my favorite genre. This is my favorite time of the year. It's spooky season. Got the Black Phone 2, a big surprise because I think the first one came out in like a March. You know, it wasn't part of the season. This one is, and it's probably might be the one that most people go see, right? So when it comes to the horror element of this, I actually give the edge to the first movie. And the reason for that is because, one, it does take a minute for the movie to get going. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think the movie was going at a methodical pace. I would not have cut anything within the beginning of the movie because, again, it is very, very necessary for what we are trying to accomplish within the end. But I would have liked for us to get there a little bit faster. But, you know, again, that's why I go being contradictory, because I want to get there faster, but I don't want to cut anything. So I think the pace, maybe the tempo could have been up a little bit better. I'm not sure if that's within editing or what. But once we get to the scares, and even then, then, this movie kind of does the Paranormal Activity route. And just follow me, if you've seen Paranormal Activity, that movie really does condition you to be scared of one thing, and that is the shot. And you know the shot I'm talking about is the bedroom shot, where they set the camera up on the tripod. There's the bed, the window, the door is open, the lights go out, and then the night car shows up. Because I remember during that first Paranormal Activity movie, when that shot comes up, the roar of the crowd, right? Because they knew stuff was going to go down when that shot pulled up. And the Black Phone, it's kind of like that too, because they use this filter when Gwen goes to take a dream. Well, goes to take a dream. When she goes to sleep and she is dreaming and you're seeing the dream. They have this filter on it. It's very cool. It's Super 8 notion of it. It's a very cool artistic choice. I really did dig it for a little bit for throughout the whole entire film. But again, the problem within that is that, you know, I don't need to be jump scared in order for me to go, hey, that's a scary movie. I just need to feel like uneasy throughout the film. I just need to be like, something could be coming around the corner at any second. I just need, you know, the shoulders to be tightened up. I just need to feel, again, uneasy while I'm watching the film. And in that first one, I did throughout. And it wasn't just because of the Grabber. It wasn't just because of the kids who were calling Finney. You also had the dad who, you know, where Gwen is the supporting role in that one. The dad who's a drunk and, you know, is afraid of his daughter's power because he believes it, that he's willing to beat her, trying to beat the power out of her. And that is another component where you're like, okay, when I'm not with Finney, okay, I know I'm safe. Well, no, because when we're with her and she's trying to find her brother, and the dad's like, don't use your powers, and I like this little girl, and I don't want her to get hurt, there's the uneasiness, right? That movie had a constant flow of being uneasy where, you know, it was a true horror film. Well, this one, where you're kind of sitting there going, well, unless that filter comes up, I know I'm safe. And with that, you do lose a lot of that scare factor within it. Even the scenes where Finney is on the phone and he's talking to the Grabber, or he is talking to kids, which is shot beautifully, by the way. There's a lot of things that they're able to do in that phone booth that's very, very creative and very, very engaging that I really did like. But again, I knew nothing really scary was going to come happening out of it because they preconditioned me to know, hey, if this filter comes up, okay, there's going to be some danger that's going to happen until they are able to signal to you when the dream is over, or that, hey, we're done with this part, we're moving on now. They do try some other things with some other characters, which I did like. I like the other characters in this film quite a bit. I also really like how they don't do normal tropes when it comes to people who have these mysterious supernatural powers in this realistic environment. I'm really glad they didn't go that route. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. They tried a little bit, but again, I never fully bought into it. And again, I only felt the uneasiness. I only felt the shoulders go up when, that filter came on, as opposed to the last movie I can really think of that had me like that the whole entire time. And I've seen a good chunk of scary movies this year. Was honestly The Conjuring: The Last Rites. I know some people weren't a huge fan of that movie. I honestly really liked it, and throughout the film, I was like this the whole time. I remember coming out of that movie and my neck hurt coming out of it. Well, this movie I did not. But again, I will say, when it comes to scares, yes, I give the edge to the first one as a horror film. But when it comes to a story, to the script, and the execution of that, and where this movie ends, it's flipped. The second movie is better than the first one, but they're both great in their own ways. 2 for 2, and it's like comparing a triple to a double. You still got on bases more than once. Hell, probably 2 triples. In all honesty, to me, if I had to rank this on a lemon scale where it goes sour lemon at the bottom, bad movie. Inspired story about lemonade, bad, but hey, there's some good. Story about lemonade, good, but hey, there's some bad. Lemonade, it's a movie. Freshly squeezed lemonade, very good, minor problems. And then strawberry lemonade at the top because it's the best kind of lemonade. I am confident in giving the Black Phone 2 a freshly squeezed lemonade. Again, if they were just able to make me feel uneasy, part of me says just take the filter out and maybe that could implement the uneasiness throughout the whole entire film. But I really did like it. Again, it's where I'm contradictory. I really liked the filter. I thought it was a really good aesthetic throughout the whole entire film. It was a good throwback to the 80s where this movie kind of takes place. Or is it the 70s? No, the first one was the 70s. I'm getting sidetracked here, but you know what I mean. Like, it felt really good throwback. I like the environment. I like these characters. If we want to do a round 3, we can. I'm all for it. I don't know what the necessary of the story would be, but my only ask would be, hey, part 1 was Finney's story, part 2 was Gwen's story. Let's even it up. Let's make it a true ensemble between these two, a true brother-sister story, which, but where they are actual co-leads within each other, where it's not clear, hey, one is the lead here while the other one is just supporting but has a presence within the film. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the Black Phone 2. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Maybe you think differently than I, or maybe we think the same and we just want to talk about it. Let's hit that comment section and have a conversation. Hit the like button if you made this far within a review. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give you also to squeeze every opportunity that you can. And until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.